My name is Anthony Conlin, Performance and Development Manager here at Valley Road School in Sunderland. This is a short video to look at the national expectation and how it's used and measured within the tracking system. Okay, as a brief recap, at the end of Key Stage 1 at the end of Year 2, nationally children are expected to be at a level 2B, which is 15 national curriculum points. Okay. 4 years later, at the end of Year 6, at the end of Key Stage 2, children are expected to be at a level 4B, which is 27 national curriculum points. The difference between that is 12, and that works out nicely at 3 points per year and 1 point per term. And this is the methodology that's used within the tracking system to be able to work out for each year and every term whether children are below, at or above national expectation. So I'll explain how that works. If we were to look at, say for example, Year 3 summer here, this is 3 terms on, it's 1 year on from the end of Key Stage 1, and therefore 3 points on, which is 18. 18 points is a grade that doesn't actually exist, it's somewhere between a 2A and a 3C. But actually the system will say that children are at national if you're either a 2A or a 3C at this point. If you're anything less than a 2A, you'll flash up red as being below national, and if you're anything greater than a 3C, then it'll show that children are above national, and that will flash up green. When then children then move into Year 4 autumn term, obviously that's 1 more term and therefore 1 more point on, the expectation then becomes a 3C. Anything less than a 3C would be red, anyone who was a 3C would be at expectation and not coloured, and anyone that was greater than a 3C would be green. And that goes all the way through from Year 3 to Year 6, and actually it's also worked backwards from the end of Year 2 to the start of Year 1 in terms of points and that expectation, how that's measured, all the way up to the end of Year 6 here. The final example here would be the Year 6 autumn term. The expectation here would be 25 points, as this is 10 terms and 10 points on from the expectation and 2 points from the end of Year 6. So a 4C would be the national expectation roughly at that point. So anyone who's less than a 4C would be red, anyone who's a 4C would be not coloured, anything greater than a 4C would be green. And now I'm going to flick to the test system in Sims to show you what that looks like in an actual mark sheet. So I'm going to go to Focus, Assessment and Mark Sheet Entry. I'm going to bring up the Year 3 mark sheet, which is the first example that I used, and we're going to look at the summer of Year 3. Okay, I always click narrow and calculate in these mark sheets here because it just makes it present a little bit better. Okay, so we're now in this mark sheet here in the test system. At the moment there isn't any data in for the Year 3 summer. These children haven't quite got there yet, even though it is test data. And I'm going to enter some. So I said here that anyone who was a 2A or a 3C would be seen as at national. So I'm going to enter a 2A for the first child, 3C for the next. I'll make the third child above national, and I'll make the fourth below national. Okay, I'm going to look at calculate now and show you where the actual part and where the national status is actually measured and where you get the colours. If you move to the right hand side here, you'll notice there's a couple of columns here which where the national status is measured and is useful. So here we've got the first column called national status. It says national status 18 2A stroke 3C. So what that's saying, at this point in time, which is Year 3 summer, the national status would be 18 points, so you need to be at least a 2A or a 3C. So we're going to look at what's in this column. The first two children I did make at national. The first was a 2A and the second was a 3C, so these have been given an equals because they're at national. The third I made above national, which is a plus and green, and the fourth I made below national, which is a minus and red. To the right hand side of that you've got the national indicator, and what this is, it's either a 1 or a 0. A 1 indicates that the child is at least at national or above, and a 0 is indicating that that child is below national. And this is useful because when you click the summary button, which is in the middle here, and come down back to the national column, go to the bottom, you get this decimal at the bottom here, which is actually a percentage. So this would mean that 0.75, which would be 75% of children are at national, which is 3 out of 4 in this example. Okay, I'm just going to flick to a different sheet now and show you the same version for Year 6 in the autumn term, so you can see how that works as well. Okay, again, narrow and calculate just to make it present a little bit better. Here we've already got some data entered, so we've got one child at a 4C, one at a 4B, a 1A and a 2C. If we go across to the national area, In here we've got national status 25 and 4C. So if we just flick back to the other sheet a second, we can see the national status here is a 4C, which is 25 points, which is what this is telling you here. So year 6 autumn is a 4C, 25 points. So the first child was a 4C, so is at national. The second one is above national because it's on a 4B, and the next two are both below national, so we've got a 1A and a 2C respectively. Again, the national status, national indicator works exactly the same. If you're at or above national, you're a 1, and if you're below national, then you're a 0. So in this example, only 50% of children are at national. And this is exactly how it works, all the way from year 1 through to year 6, for every year, for every term. And that indication is just the 1 point per term. I'll be doing the same version of this video for milestones and targets. Thank you.